got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Mary Alice Dick, a retired English professor, is pretty charitable, especially to groups supporting disabled veterans. So it didn't surprise her when she opened her mailbox one day and found this.
With your husband's name on them.
In the fundraising industry, they're called guilt packages. And when this one arrived, a big calculator and a calendar book with her husband's name on them, Mary Alice felt the guilty tug to make that donation.
And see, it's sort of a disabled American veterans. How many people are going to look at it and think that they are the same organization?
And they're not.
No.
In fact, the gifts were not from the well-known and respected disabled American veterans, but from a newer, much smaller charity, the Disabled Veterans National Foundation. Something didn't smell right, so this retired English teacher did some research and found that the DVNF gets an F from a charity watchdog group. According to its tax filings, raising nearly $56 million in donations for veterans in the past 3 years, but according to the record CNN found, none of that $56 million has gone to direct services for veterans.
Making lots of money off of it. I mean, when you're talking about millions of dollars that people are doing by grabbing money from people who don't have it.
What's up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. You may or may not know me, and this might be your first video, but I want to let you guys know something.
Here we go.
Wait, how is this legal?
I didn't put on the efforts, I didn't put on the shirts, I didn't put on the money. Okay, well, just didn't give me and they scammed it. Just didn't give me and they scammed it. Just didn't give me and they scammed it.
What, you think I don't have eyes? You think I can't see these things? No, I must have imagined it. It must have been a mirage.
They got something. I don't know. Adam or $10. Did they don't listen to me. I don't know if they got $10 or $10,000. Oh, it's more than $10. How can I make that? How can I make it important? It's more than $10. Okay. Tell me how much it was.
Well, you just lost yourself a customer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to get this legalized on it. No, we don't. No, we don't. You don't go to a gun fight without loading the gun with bullets if you don't have any bullets.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Only takes one bullet.
I love how they always find a way to blame it on you. Like, it's like, what do you mean?
I totally get it. Not our bullets. Well,
Dude, did you hear what you just said? You don't go to war without no bullets, or you don't care, whatever it was you said, whatever dumb remark it was. Seriously, think about what you said. It's been 3 years. You didn't even know the name Marfoogle until Matthew called you. Snaps called you and told you about it. And you were all about it. You were on it. No one's going to do that to you.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
That's funny. You guys are funny. He gets pissed off.
And the minute you get a phone call or a visit from Adam, all of a sudden your tune changes. You must be you know what, you sound like you could be Adam's dad, because apple don't fall far from the tree. Do you even hear what you are saying, any of you? You sound so moronic. That it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. How do you guys live with yourselves? With the way you treat people?
Somebody's got to call out these assholes. Every time they cross a line, we let it go. You treat people like garbage. And then when you get called on it, you bitch and you moan that we're not respecting your beliefs. Well, screw you.
And I don't give a damn how many cars you gave away. Still a penny, still $1,000. It's still theft. Okay? In the eyes of the Father, it's still theft. Oh, wait a minute. You probably don't even believe in the Father. None of y'all do. Y'all Luciferian.
May God have mercy on your soul.
Nobody that believes in the Father would do these acts, would do anything like this stuff. You could still back out, Terry. You have a chance to back out of this and just say, well, I didn't hear both sides completely. I'm out of here. I don't have nothing to do with nothing. You could do that, but you won't because, well, I have a feeling a pocket was padded, but that's just my personal opinion, and I'm entitled to that. But I'll let everyone else judge for themselves by listening to this video. But if you can hear yourself, absolutely insane. Absolutely just mind-boggling.
Here's a general rule of thumb. If he gets really freaked out, he's just hiding something. General rule of thumb.
How you guys can do these things to people. Man, just sad. Really sad.
I don't have time to waste on something that I don't know if it was over $10. I'll tell you right now, it's probably over hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Hundreds, if not thousands. Like, if not thousands. This guy reaches thousands of people every night. It's probably that he is probably doesn't cut it in a court of law, my friend. No, but he has committed felony charity fraud on the donator, influencing the donator. That has been prosecuted if you got proof of that. Well, that's why we're trying to work with you to see what we can do. Have they contacted you? Just curious.
Just want to confirm that you got that. There was a question that eventually led us to even contacting you in the first place to fix all that confusion.
And you contacted me. Everything was good. It's all self-explanatory.
Have they contacted you? Just curious.
Why love you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop you lying, always lying to me. You lying so much. You making it hard for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because like I said, there's a lot of things to this puzzle. So, well, I mean, if you can do that at least for us, that would help. A video statement, you know, basically just saying, yeah, that's just yeah, there's really have something that proves that they have done something illegal. But you're right.
All right, so before we do get started, I do want to address something. A lot of people, well, I should say a few people have commented about something that has been gone around. Some people were asking questions, and actually it was brought to our attention by one of our mods, Ilea, actually, and she pointed out that some folks were asking questions about a previous fundraiser that we did all the way back in 2019.
It's all about the distraction.
It was a month-long period when we actually did a fundraiser. After a finished fundraiser for somebody else, we did one for Cars for Hero.
Yeah, no, Adam, it wasn't just a few random people. Your mods, your old mods, the ones that you were dirty to. And Snafukrew Snaps, it was your bull, okay? We're asking the questions.
Yeah.
And as far as Ilea coming and telling you information, yeah, she's now your bull instead of Snafukrew Snaps. She goes around, takes little screenshots of everybody like a little tattletale. Now that's how you work. That's what you had all of us do. Go around taking snapshots of what everybody's saying about you because you're so dang paranoid about your dang little news channel. I've never met a human being like you. It's so disturbing.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
We are still doing the charity drive on the Mafia shirts. 100% since day one of these shirts is gone. The profit has gone to Cars for Heroes.
We wanted to verify if you guys received any donations from Marfoogle News at all. We did not.
We are still doing the charity drive on the Mafia shirts. 100% since day one of these shirts is gone. The profit has gone to Cars for Heroes.
We wanted to verify if you guys received any donations from Marfoogle News at all. We did not.
We are still doing the charity drive on the Mafia shirts. 100% since day one of these shirts is gone. The profit has gone to Cars for Heroes. The profit has gone to Cars for Heroes. The profit has gone to Cars for Heroes.
We wanted to verify if you guys received any donations from Marfoogle News at all. We did not.
It has gone to Cars for Heroes. It has gone to Cars for Heroes. It has gone to Cars for Heroes. It has gone. It has gone. It has gone. It has gone.
You guys are in so much trouble.
Wait, what? What was that? What did I just hear?
We are still doing the charity drive on the Mafia shirts. 100% since day one of these shirts is gone. The profit has gone to Cars for Heroes.
Somebody tell me I'm hearing things. Somebody tell me I did not just hear Adam, aka Mark Christopher, say that 100% is gone to Cars for Heroes.
We are still doing the charity drive on the Mafia shirts. 100% since day one of these shirts is gone. The profit has gone to Cars for Heroes.
This is back in 2019, y'all. And it wasn't no month long. I don't know where you learned. Well, I know they're dumbing down the schools and all that, so maybe you got caught up in that mess. But September 19th, all the way through December 6th, that don't calculate no month to me. So I don't know what math you're doing. I don't know what calendar you're using, but because you're still, I consider you a millennial, I will give you a little bit of latitude on that one. But dude, you need to go back to school because you can't add.
We are still doing the charity drive on the Mafia shirts. 100% since day one of these shirts is gone. The profit has gone to Cars for Heroes.
We wanted to verify if you guys received any donations from Marfoogle News at all. We did not.
You know, $700 and some odd is something that might fix 2 cars, maybe 3 cars for us.
Okay, so now let's talk about the numbers I've been telling you to remember. $700 and some odd, Terry Francis, and 718, I think, from what Adam said. But listen to this, and I'll get back at you.
Obviously, we did a fundraiser prior. The Fugel fam actually raised $718.
You know, $700 and some odd is.
Okay, did you catch that? Let me play it one more time.
We did a fundraiser prior. We did a fundraiser prior. The Fugel fam actually raised $718. We did a fundraiser prior. The Fugel fam actually raised $718. We did a fundraiser prior. The Fugel fam actually raised $718.
You know, $700 and some odd is. You know, $700 and some odd is.
Okay. You can go and watch the original clip, okay? Because I didn't take anything out of context. Adam says they did a fundraiser prior to Cars for Heroes. They raised $718. Terry France corroborates the $700 and some odd, but later on he does, I say 1718, I believe. So if the fundraiser was prior, why are they giving the $718 to Terry if it was for a different charity? Because there was no money exchanged. They're lying. And that's where I caught Adam in the lie. He's lying. Flat out. They did a previous fundraiser. A prior fundraiser. And the Fugel fam raised $718. Never connected it with Cars for Heroes. If you watch the original clip, go back to his show and watch the original clip. It's the one with car doors or something, that light blue. He'll probably take it down, watch. But he specifically says, we did a fundraiser prior and the Fugel fam made $718. So prior, he only did one supposedly for Cars for Heroes, but we know it was for him. That's why he shut mine down after a few weeks so he can make money. But that was it. That was it. So if he did the fundraiser prior, why are they giving that fundraiser money to Terry France? They're not. He went there, patted his pocket. I believe, in my opinion, patted his pocket. Terry France shut up, and then they said, "I don't know how much. I don't know what your cost was, Terry. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, you're. Oh my goodness, this is the lie that I caught that nobody else caught. Y'all hear that? Go listen to it again if you didn't, because they're lying."
You know, we did a fundraiser prior. The Fugel fam actually raised $718.
Wrong. Are you sure?
I'm positive.
How could you be so sure?
Objection, Your Honor. Can we clarify to the court whether the witness is stating opinion or fact?
This is your opinion?
It's a fact.
I find it hard to believe that this kind of information could be ascertained.
Would you like me to explain?
I would love to hear this.
So would I.
You know, we did a fundraiser prior. The Fugel fam actually raised $718.
Is that it?
No, there's more.
You know, $700 some odd is.
We ended up chipping in, and total it was about $1,000.57.
So, in your professional opinion, Miss Tomei, were they lying?
They what?
Thank you, Ms. Vito. No more questions. Thank you very, very much. You've been a lovely, lovely witness.
Not tainted at all by the fact that you guys...
It's not cheating if everyone's doing it.
And that's the frickin' tea, babe.
Well, ish.
Let me remind you.
It's gonna make me cry.
Because it may help us protect ourselves in the future changes.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Once we hit that 100K mark, we can actually apply for verification and prove that we are commercially viable.
Raider!
Queer.
Bye, Felicia.
Y'all fancy.
Goddamn pig.
Again, none of us really know where it's going to go in the next few months, but I do know that this has become a huge part of my life. And the people I've met, I don't know where my life would be right now if it wasn't for those same people. I'm proud to say that I started this, but now I am a sheer equal with 100,000 people plus.
Where's my fucking money? Where is it?
That are just like me, that just want to share what they have in their head.
If you honestly speak the truth, it makes you, and well, not indestructible, but it does kind of make your soul indestructible. And I think the archetypes are referred to, you know, Maximus, Hector, Leonidas, all men who spoke the truth. They were all defeated in the end, but their soul was not broken when they
Socrates
were defeated.
is the best example of that, because we know, the thing about Socrates that's so cool is that, many things, is that there's no arguments about the historical reality of Socrates. He lived, and we have 2 transcripts of his trial from 2 different people. And they basically, and I outlined this again in the same chapter about doing what is meaningful and not what is expedient. You know, when Socrates, when he was accused of corrupting the youth of Athens, there was a game that was going on. It was a political game. And Socrates was a gadfly, right? He bothered people because he kept asking them questions, you know. He wanted to know the answers. He'd ask them questions. And then the people he was questioning would find out that they didn't know the answers, and that was very disturbing to them, you know. And so they all got together. Athens was a small city by our standards, only 25,000 people. Everyone knew everyone, like seriously, right? And all the local aristocracy got together and said, God, you know, we're sick of this guy. Why don't we tell him we're going to put him on trial? And sort of hint that he should get the hell out of town. That was the game. Yeah. So that, you know, they announced the trial, and everyone knew it was going to be a fixed outcome. But the idea was, well, we'll announce it 6 months ahead of time, and he can have a colloquy with his friends and get out of town, and then we'll be rid of him, and that'll be the end of that. Well, and Socrates knew that this was the game, and so did his friends. And they all got together and said, well, you know, we got to get you out of town. And Socrates was thinking, yeah, that's probably a good idea because, like, I don't want to be dead. And then he went off and had a little consultation with his conscience. A little, you know, and he was thinking internally, consulting his conscience. And it said, don't run away. And he thought, well, really? What do you mean, don't run away? Like, these people want to kill me. They're going to kill me. What do you mean, don't run away? And his conscience said, don't run away. Don't run away. That's how it is. You're not to run away. And Socrates came back and told his friends, okay, I went and talked to my conscience, and he said, you know, the one thing that makes me different from all other men is that when my conscience tells me not to do something, I stop. Like, it doesn't tell me what to do. It tells me what not to do, and then I don't do it, no matter what. That's what made me who I am. And he said, you know, the Delphic Oracle had said for her part, he said at his trial that he was the wisest man, and she was very highly regarded, right? Whatever she was doing with her hallucinogenic tricks, she was the mouthpiece of the gods, and said that Socrates was the wisest man in Greece. And we still remember him. He didn't run. He didn't run. And then he thought, okay, well, if my conscience is correct, let's assume that for a minute. Weird as that is, because how could it be correct? But it's always been correct before. He said, well, look, and he said this at his trial, I'm old. I'm old. I've been renowned for my clarity of thought. I'm going to die not so long from now. And so now I have this opportunity to put my affairs in order and to say goodbye to everyone and to live the remainder of my life with integrity and to say what I have to say. And then at his trial, he just flips the table and he goes after the people who are prosecuting him. And you see why they want him dead. It's devastating. It's devastating. And so, you know, we know the story 2,500 years later, 3,000 years later. And, well, and that's a reflection of exactly what you said, is that that part of the spirit doesn't die.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean?
I think it means that it dies when you corrupt yourself.
Well, that's what Solzhenitsyn said in the Gulag Archipelago. You know, he said there's something worse than death. That's a good thing to know. Yeah. And that's the death of your soul. And that's whether the soul is immortal or not. It's a psychological idea. It's like there are conditions under which it would be better not to live. Well, that's the cry for freedom, I would say. You know? So, because life without truth is hell. Yeah. That's the right way of looking at it.
You're worth $6 million because Dex sold it. And he gave you money to run the program on your channel. He tried to do it in Discord. Y'all tried to do it there and they banned you for life. Because some people do have morals. But it's going to help you. And how does it help the Fugel fam? It don't. It don't. It don't help them one bit. They can use any software to stop people, the average citizen. That's not, there's no program out there that's going to stop the government from getting into your system, from knowing everything about you. And now that Dex is running his software through your channel, they're going to be easily found when this all goes down, Adam. Why don't you tell them the truth?
This rabbit hole is just way too deep for normal.
Is that it?
No, there's more.
NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you.
The most exciting thing to me in this field is absolutely the amount of data that's becoming available. The most exciting thing to me in this field is absolutely the amount of data that's becoming available. It's also scary.
If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down.
So a lot of you probably already know about the whole NordVPN drama. For those of you unaware, basically a very famous, very shielded VPN service called NordVPN got hacked somewhere in 2018. Basically one of the servers got compromised and the attacker was able to get access to all the data that was going through the server for the whole month, until NordVPN discovered it and shut the whole thing down. Now, I've been meaning to do this video for a while now, and the whole NordVPN situation was just an additional motivation, sort of. And in this video, I want to tell you that you probably shouldn't be using a VPN at all. Well, with a few minor exceptions, of course. Let's get started. Full disclosure, a lot of what I'm going to say in this video is based on this very good GitHub gist by JoePie91, in which he described why one shouldn't be using VPN services, and I agree on a lot of what he says, but I want to extend it and kind of elaborate on some points that I disagree on. Thing is, a lot of VPN providers employ so-called bait and switch tactics, which means they advertise one thing and at the end you get something completely different that you didn't sign up for. They all have those flashy websites and advertisements where they promise you ultimate privacy and absolute protection from any kind of tracking or spying or what have you, whereas actually VPNs don't really protect your privacy or anything. The only thing a VPN server does is it takes all of your web traffic and it passes it through itself, so that your internet service provider or your employer doesn't see what websites exactly you visit, it only sees the VPN address. And that's basically it. Your privacy is not going to be magically improved by just using a VPN, because you still use your real IP address to log into VPN service. And even though pretty much every VPN service says that they don't log your activities, they have a no-log policy, and trusting those claims is the only thing you can do, really. There's no way to check whether your provider actually logs your activities or not. There is no transparency about it, ever. Besides, if you're using VPN service to connect to your online accounts such as Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, it becomes really easy to trace your identity to a VPN service, and it kind of defeats the purpose of using VPN for privacy, to be honest. So the only thing you're accomplishing by using VPN service is hiding your web activity from one untrustworthy party, that is your internet service provider, and showing it to another one, possibly even more untrustworthy. Moreover, if a VPN service that you're using is based in the US, it is obliged by law to provide any kind of user data that it has, including your data also. And in a lot of cases, those requests are also accompanied by a so-called gag order, which means that the company is obliged to submit any kind of user information that it has, and it's also obliged to keep silent about it. Some VPN providers can also potentially work as a honeypot. They basically operate on the assumption that if you're using VPN, you probably have something to hide, or you're doing something not very legal. I mean, sure, you might be just a law-abiding, privacy-conscious citizen, but you also might be a script kiddie, or a drug dealer, or an activist, a journalist. This also gives VPN services an additional incentive to keep the data, to log the data, because who knows, maybe there's going to be something interesting in there that they could use against you, even.
NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else.
Also, there are some drawbacks to using VPN services that are not directly related to privacy, but are pretty inconvenient regardless. Every VPN service has a limited range of IP addresses, so in some cases, especially if you use a very well-known VPN service, your internet service provider and the websites that you're visiting will know that you use a certain VPN, which might draw attention to you. Some websites go as far as blocking all of the known VPN IP ranges, which means you should probably get used to this kind of messages because you'll be seeing them a lot. At this point, a lot of you, especially those who are more well-versed in the privacy stuff, might say, well, okay, sure, VPN services are bad, everyone knows about it. But what about self-hosting a VPN on a cheap virtual private server? That could be better, right? If you have some basic knowledge of Linux shell and 30 minutes of free time, you can basically set up a fully working VPN server for just a fraction of costs of those VPN services. And at the first glance, this option sounds great, but there's a catch, and the catch is called OpenVZ. OpenVZ is a virtualization technology that basically 99.9% of cheap VPS providers use. Now, the thing about OpenVZ is that it's a container-based virtualization technology, which means all the VMs on a host share the same kernel. And currently, the majority of cheap VPS providers use OpenVZ version 6, which ships Linux kernel version 2.6.32.
And leveraging social technology makes that absolutely easier for a marketer today.
A big portion of newer software doesn't even support kernels that are that old. You want to run Docker, or maybe you want to set up a WireGuard VPN? No. You can't. And I didn't even get to the best part. Due to the container-based nature of OpenVZ, your VPS provider can basically snoop on everything you're doing in your virtual machine. That's right, your provider can basically see your process in real time, has full access to your storage. It is absolutely impossible to encrypt your hard drive when you're running an OpenVZ based virtual machine. So everything you're doing in your virtual machine is basically an open book for a provider. With other virtualization technologies such as KVM and Xen, it is still possible to snoop on your activities, but it usually involves dumping the RAM of your virtual machine, which is much more difficult and time consuming. So yeah, basically stay away from OpenVZ based VPS and pick something that has KVM or Xen based virtualization. However, you might notice that OpenVZ based virtual private servers are much cheaper than KVM or Xen based ones.
The most exciting thing to me in this field is absolutely the amount of data that's becoming available. The most exciting thing to me in this field is absolutely the amount of data that's becoming available. It's also scary.
If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down.
Reason? Over-provisioning. OpenVZ allows a virtual machine to borrow resources from another virtual machine that is currently not using any resources. As a result, a lot of VPS providers sell more virtual machines that they can afford resource-wise. Some VPS providers will actually go as far as suspending or terminating your virtual machine if you've been using it to its full potential, stating that you've been overusing their resources. It actually happened to me once. So if you're going to host your own VPN, for which there are valid reasons, I'm going to talk about them at the end of this video, be sure to pick a KVM or a Xen based one, don't cheap out. Do keep in mind though that a lot of what I've said about VPN services actually holds true for self-hosted VPNs. You still need to make sure that your VPS provider is not based in a country where you can be forced to give out all the data, and you still need to take systematic measures to improve your privacy. And even if you host your own VPN on a trustworthy VPS where you encrypt your hard drive and you don't keep any logs, VPNs are still not a silver bullet that will make you magically invincible to all the spyware and all the tracking and invisible to CIA, FBI, and what have you.
Let me go! Quit it! Let me go!
Well, yeah, maybe.